And to start this one off, we're going to go to Todd. Todd, talk about Mickey 17.
Thank you. I will drink until next morning.
Yes. Bong.
Until next morning, maybe?
Maybe. Well, Mickey 17 is about this guy, Mickey Barnes, played by Robert Pattinson, and he's a pathetic guy. He volunteers for a new program, which is the Inexpendable, which is someone who is kind of like a test dummy, sort of, in space, who will be regenerated whenever he dies. He doesn't exactly know what he's signing up for at the time, but he's that guy. And there's a point when he's supposed to be dead, but he doesn't die, which creates an issue when this 17th version of Mickey is duplicated with the 18th version. And now the two of them, knowing what they know, are now a threat to everything in the world because it's run by these whack jobs played by Toni Collette and Mark Ruffalo. Naomi Ackie is also in it as a love interest of sorts, and Yeun is another guy who works on these projects with Mickey. The movie is like bizarrely slapsticky. Like Bong has always had a strange sense of humor, but this is pretty weird. I don't really know it translates that well to English. I think this would have been better if it was in Korean. It's intriguing because you don't know where it's going, but it feels pretty dumb. Like the creatures are cool and stuff, but the characters don't never feel real. I don't know what reality this is supposed to be, but it's not like a reality I know. Mark Ruffalo is really, really strange in this. Like he's doing his Poor Things thing, and it immediately is a Matt Damon contender at the Pinos for next year. I'm surprised at how important the side characters are. When you watch the trailer, it makes it look like Moon or something, but the side characters are actually like pivotal roles in this. But Pattinson's awesome. The voice is distracting, but I don't know who decided on that tone, but I mean it kind of works. He's a cool actor. This is like Bong doing his Edge of Tomorrow thing with his weird ass Okja stuff put in there too. The implications that it creates are complicated. The results are inconsistent. The foundation's flimsy and the tone is confusing. Parts are reminiscent of Moon. Then it tries to be a rival at the same time. Those are better movies than this. This kind of crashes its dismount. Thomas Turgoose is in this though from my favorite Shane Meadows movies. That was cool to see him make an appearance. I'm at 2.5 stars, so I wasn't really on the wavelength of this one.
Zach.
Wow, I did not realize Thomas Turgoose was in it. Of course, we love him.
He had one scene. He was in like the lunchroom at the very beginning. I was like, "Is he like an actual character?"
Soldier.
I was like, "No, he just is. It's just one scene."
So this was a fascinating experience watching it. Of course, anytime there's a follow-up to an Oscar-winning movie like Parasite, it obviously generates a lot of intrigue. The fact that this movie was pushed back, the fact that it's been 6 years since Bong has made a movie, I think it's the best and worst thing is like all this talk about this movie, because it certainly builds up anticipation. This is not an Oscar movie, though, to be clear. And if you've ever watched some of his other movies like Snowpiercer or Okja or The Host, I mean, those are not really Oscar movies either. This is much more, I guess, in his sort of conventional wheelhouse, and maybe Parasite is a bit of an aberration. It's not that he makes bad movies, but his movies are, like Todd was saying, always kind of a little bit slapsticky, always a little bit eccentric and weird, with some over-the-top performances, particularly in his English language movies. If you've ever seen, Snowpiercer or Okja, just think of Tilda Swinton and Jake Gyllenhaal in those movies, and you basically get what Toni Collette and Mark Ruffalo are doing in this movie. It was an interesting experience watching this movie. I'm not sure why it had to be so long. There's scenes that seem like they will play an important role later in the movie, and they never really build to anything. There's a very lengthy beginning exposition that's like the opening 30 minutes of the movie that really doesn't need to be there whatsoever. The Anna Maria Vertolami character, she was in Happening, by the way. Excellent movie. It was on my top 5 list a few years ago.
And Count of Monte Cristo, by the way.
Oh, interesting. I have not seen that. But her character...
It's on Hoopla now. It's back on Hoopla.
Okay. Her character in this movie is pretty unnecessary. It felt like maybe in an earlier draft, that character actually did something a little bit more substantive. Same with the Yeun character. I'm not really sure what his purpose is, but when you kind of strip it back and you take the fact that this movie has some really cool ideas, some nice visuals, and a weird, off-putting performance by Pattinson, I land on it that it works. I thought it was pretty cool, like the whole idea of the human cloning. I like that it was a little bit different than what the trailer was doing. I thought this was going to be like a Michael Keaton multiplicity situation where you got Mickey 1 and Mickey 3 battling each other and Mickey 6 and Mickey 8 running around. It's really just Mickey 17 and Mickey 18 that are the primary players in this movie. There's a little bit of like a Charlie and Donald Kaufman relationship with them because one of them's a little bit more mopey and aggressive than the other. And and like Nicolas Cage, Pinot Winter, I didn't really need that scar on Pattinson's face to tell that was Mickey 18. Like, I think he just conveyed it really well in his body language. The movie drags at times in the middle. Yes, I'll give you that. But I really like where it kind of goes in the last, like, 45 minutes. Like, I think those creatures are cool. They're like a very George Lucas-esque mixture of, like, potentially threatening, but also sort of cute in, like, a Jim Henson sort of way. And I like the communication between the humans and the creatures. I don't really think that this is a great movie. I can understand why the studio was maybe apprehensive to release it around the Oscars because people would think that it's an Oscar contender, but it's nowhere near the level of success that Parasite has. But you know what? It's a fun movie. It's a dumb movie. And the truth is, if we're talking about fun, dumb movies, where's my stupid, soundbite? Where I love silly, I love stupid. This is a movie that you could probably fall asleep during, like I did for about 20 minutes.
I love stupid.
And not miss a whole lot. I think a lot of the negative reviews have been about Mark Ruffalo's over-the-top performance. Well, they gave him an Oscar nomination last year for basically doing the same shit, so I don't think that's valid. The experience of watching the movie, to me, it's a little bit like Ready Player One. I didn't realize there was such a diverse tapestry of shit out there. Really, where I fall in it is like Ready Player One. It's by a great filmmaker. It's probably not one of his great movies, but it is an enjoyable movie with some quirky, eccentric performances in it. And I'm not really sure what the purpose of the movie is, but I enjoyed watching it and I had a good time and I'm giving it 3 stars.
And bye-bye.
So we got 2.5 stars from Todd, 3 stars from Zach. I'm a Todd. I'm at 2.5 stars. This one, it was just a little too weird. Like, there's like I'm giving it the respect by giving it the 2.5 stars. Otherwise it'd be a little lower, but something good's going on there. He's making some sort of social commentary with the Mark Ruffalo character. I don't know why Toni Collette even exists in this movie. Robert Pattinson's fun to watch though. Like if you're gonna watch this movie, it's to watch Robert Pattinson and see him do his thing and how he just so subtly portrays the same character in 2 different like frames of mind in Mickey 17 and Mickey 18. That was a lot of fun to watch. Other than that, I mean, the characters are in the alien things. We're not the aliens, or they're not the aliens. We are. But they're interesting, but it's all just a little too weird. I don't know. It was out there. Now, I will say, I think Parasite was my first Bong Joon-Ho movie, and I haven't watched another one since. So you guys are referencing these other Bong Joon-Ho movies. I haven't seen any of them. So maybe I need to get caught up on Bong Joon-Ho a little bit and to truly appreciate who he is as a filmmaker. But this one, I don't know. This one was just a little too out there for me.
Well, see, I like that Bong directed this movie, and where I really fall on it, I don't totally disagree with you guys. It's a strange, eccentric movie that it is nowhere near the realm of Parasite. But here's where I land, is that if this movie had been directed by the Russo brothers and been made directly for Netflix, it would have been straight trash. Okay, I think the eccentricity is what makes this movie kind of cool. You got some strange decisions in the way that the creatures look, strange decisions in Pattinson's performance, and then some strange interactions between characters who don't really seem to belong. I think that's kind of cool. I don't know, but the premise of this movie is very sort of by the books in terms of kind of standard sci-fi sort of stuff, and I like that this movie kind of sees it as a little bit ridiculous and silly also. So I just think like Bong, it's like a high war sort of like best director, because in the hands of another more serious filmmaker, this would have been really, really shit.
I mean, that's fair. That's why I'm giving it 2.5 stars. Yeah, it's based on a book. I'm kind of interested to see what the book would look like. I bet it's a cool book.
Mickey 7.
This was supposed to come out like 2 years ago, right? Wasn't this kept getting delayed?
Yeah, it was done a while ago, and I think they didn't know what to do with it.
I think they
'Cause
did
they
the
kinda-
exact right
yeah.
thing with it. They put it out in March. Like, this is a great March movie. You know, you'd probably drive maybe 16 minutes to go see it. I wouldn't drive any further than that. I wouldn't pay more than $8 to see it, and I wouldn't see it in a crowded theater. But it's a fun movie, and I kind of like that it was not on Netflix. It was a fun excuse, and you know, only a few people were on their phones during the movie. I think most people were kind of into it.
Yeah, this was done shooting in December 2022.
Wow.
And
Well, then
I
it's a
don't know.
miracle.
I'm reading the Wikipedia page. It says Pattinson based his character on Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber.
And I heard Steve Buscemi in Fargo was another
Yeah.
inspiration for him.
And he in his initial script reading, he was trying to sound like Ren and Stimpy and Johnny Knoxville and Steve-O. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's worth an extra half star. I don't know.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
heard some people saying
for
that that Robert Pattinson should be nominated for Best Actor and Best Supporting Actor.
So it's just it's
Barry
split.
Fitzgerald.
Yeah, Best Actor for Mickey 17 and Best Supporting Actor for Mickey 18.
Yeah, Mickey 18 could be up for douchebag.
It could
Mickey
be.
18 would maybe be a stickman as well.
I'm reading on the IMDb trivia page that Bong Joon-Ho would often not tell Robert Pattinson which version of Mickey he was playing in a scene until just before they'd shoot to capture the confusion and existential dread of a clone struggling with his own identity, leading to some of the film's most unsettling and raw performances.
That sounds about right. That checks out.
All right, I think that's about where we're gonna fall in this one. I've got it at 2.5. Zach has it at 3. Todd has it at 2.5. It's in theaters. It's like the biggest thing going in theaters right now. So I'd go check it out if I were
Was
you.
it number one at the box office? Right,
Oh,
19 million.
19
was
million.
11 million clear of Captain America.